M. And now 103.3 FM. Translator K277CR, Durango, Colorado. Continue mostly sunny and hot. Another heat advisory in effect today. Today's high 100 degrees in Farmington, 64 tonight, 99 for a high tomorrow, 98 with sunshine on Saturday, sunny and hot, 100 degrees on Sunday. Twelve minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 20th day of July, 2023. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. 103.3 FM broadcasting to the Durango, Colorado area. And of course, if you're anywhere else on the planet and want to listen, just go to our website and tune in, ksje.com. We also want to welcome our viewers who are watching the video of the program this morning. The video is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and our YouTube channel, so we're glad that you are all with us this morning. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Coming up in the next few moments, we're going to be focusing on San Juan County this morning. We're talking with the new Deputy County Manager, Stephen Saavadra. He is here with me in Studio A, as well as Devn Neeley, who we don't have a photograph of on the screen, but that's all right. He is certainly worth looking at, and you'll be able to do that after the break in just a moment here on KSJE, the County Public Relations Manager. Also coming up this morning, we want to remind you that Mick Hess will be here next hour, roving with the arts. Mick is featuring some music from Irving Berlin this morning on the program. That is coming up next, right here on KSJE. And a reminder, too, to join us tomorrow on the road, KSJE on the road, tomorrow morning from downtown Farmington, beginning about 10 a.m. We are going to be providing video coverage of the Connie Mack World Series parade that is happening. So if you can't join us on Main Street, we hope that you will join us on your computer, on your phone, on whatever device you'd like to watch, Facebook or YouTube. Go to KSJE and check it out, or you could watch it at a more convenient time tomorrow because our on-the-road events are always on demand as well. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on Twitter and Instagram in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast person, you can subscribe to KSJE Podcasts wherever you're already listening to podcasts, places like iHeartRadio or iTunes or Pandora or Spotify. The list goes on and on. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is already sunny and 76 degrees in Farmington at the moment. Another heat advisory in effect for the area, so do be aware of the hot temperatures this afternoon as we reach a forecast high of 100 degrees again today. Clear tonight with a low of 64. Tomorrow, sunshine 99 for a high. 98 on Saturday, back up to 100 with sunshine on Sunday. 99 again on Monday, but maybe some scattered thunderstorms be developing maybe Saturday night on into Tuesday. So right on schedule because it is Connie Mack season. We'll be back with my guests and more right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. KSJE is supported by Music in the Mountains, a world-class classical music festival based in Durango, Colorado, offering orchestra, chamber, and world music concerts from July 6th through July 30th. This year, the concerts come to you with free mobile stage performances in the region, plus other unique venues throughout the area. Find out more at musicinthemountains.com.
This July, go on a storybook adventure with Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Little Red Riding Hood as Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods opens July 6th in the beautiful Lions Wilderness Amphitheater, with performances Thursday through Sunday evenings until July 30th. Don't miss this darkly entertaining show featuring a variety of characters from Brothers Grimm fairy tales. This production will cast a spell as the story unfolds, so be careful when you go into the woods. For more information on this jolt-worthy entertainment coming this summer, visit farmingtonnm.org.
Back in Studio A this morning with my guest, as I mentioned, from San Juan County. The new Deputy County Manager is here with us this morning, Stephen Saavadra. Good morning and welcome back to KSJE in this new capacity. Good to see you.
Good morning and thank you, Scott.
You bet. Also, Devn Neeley is joining us this morning as well from San Juan County, and there's his face. Devn Neeley, good morning.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Thanks for coming in. And Mr. Saavadra, I want to start with you a little bit about your new job with the county, moving over from your other job with the city of Aztec, I believe, correct?
That's correct.
And that happened not too long ago, maybe just a couple of months, right?
Yeah, so right after Memorial Day was my first day with San Juan County, and ever since it has been an amazing experience. Every day is different. Lots to learn on my end. I'm filling in for some big shoes. The former Deputy County Manager, Jim Cox, very intelligent individual, did a great job, and so I'm learning a lot. I know I have more to learn, but I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
Very good. Well, but you did a lot in the city of Aztec, as I recall, because you and I talked a little bit about some of the projects you were involved with over there, and so maybe talk a bit about how long you were with the city of Aztec and some of the things that you were involved with maybe over there that folks would recognize and remember.
Yeah, so city of Aztec was a great experience, great learning experience on my end. I had started in October 3rd of 2016. At that time, the city manager was Josh Ray and the mayor was Sally Burbridge, an amazing elected official. She got a lot done prior to me arriving, but she had a good vision for the city of Aztec. One of the things that we were able to work on, even though she had departed, was the North Main extension. At that time when I came on board, there wasn't enough funding for the project. And it was in 2019 where we actually petitioned the governor's office to see if we could get capital outlay funds. This was a very tight funding situation for the state. There wasn't a lot of capital outlay dollars out there. But nevertheless, we pitched our case, and consequently, come springtime, we got awarded $2.5 million for the project. Had to do some more engineering within the project, but nevertheless, it was a ribbon cutting in December of 2022, and that facility is now open, and hopefully some great things can happen as a result of that with respect to economic development, trails, walking space, and so forth. So very proud of that project, very proud how it came out, and that was just one of the big highlights for the city of Aztec.
I was going to say, it had to be nice to see it come to fruition after all those years of work and trying to put together the funding to make it all happen. And now that it's kind of open and ready for maybe some private investment and things like that, that was kind of by design, right?
Yes, sir. Exactly. Initially started off as a trail project to the ruins, and then the foresight of the elected officials at the time had the understanding that it could be a great public-private partnership, and hopefully could bring some added amenities to the city of Aztec and San Juan County.
Right. Very good. Well, congratulations on that, and of course on your transition over to San Juan County. As you mentioned, you are learning a lot about some of the ongoing issues with the county and some of the things that are happening. The big issue, I think, one of them would be the rail project that the county is kind of taking the lead on, but it certainly includes a lot of other players in the area, including the Navajo Nation, the city of Farmington, and Forset, and a lot of other entities, right, to try to bring a rail spur into this part of the country. Because really, when you look at a map, there really isn't any rail links in the four-state area, in the immediate area, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the longest question I've ever asked a guest, I think.
Good job in terms of describing it. It's a very exciting project. I know it has been talked about for some time. I know a lot of folks have indicated that it could be nothing less than a pipe dream. But I think the reality today, with the feasibility study currently underway, that pipe dream could be more of a reality. An MOU between San Juan County and the Navajo Nation, I think, was a good first step. I think the former aforesaid director has a lot of credit towards that. And, of course, the folks...
Who's now working for the Navajo Nation,
right.
by the way. So that can't hurt, maybe this project, I would hope.
Hopefully it won't hurt at all, and we're optimistic that will only help. A lot of credit to the Navajo Nation with respect to that MOU, and of course San Juan County for getting that in place. And the reality is the timing could not be more ideal with respect to some of the federal funds that are out there. So that could mitigate the cost significantly. Granted, there's still a long ways away for the project, but currently, right now, within the feasibility study, there are proposed different routes, getting feedback from the folks, not just from Farmington, but the Navajo Nation, different chapters, all the way to Window Rock, just trying to identify what would be the most ideal, cost-effective route should the project go forward. And that's where, a lot of the input is not only important, but necessary. We definitely don't want to miss an idea or miss a perspective, but get a good idea so that hopefully we'll have a good application to the federal government and get some federal funds for this project, and hopefully it won't be a pipe dream but a reality, and that will be in my humble opinion, a game changer for the region with respect to economic development.
Right, but I don't think it is a humble opinion, because you know your stuff and you know how big of a deal this would be with economic development and other things and growth for the area. I think if we were to have a working rail link to the mainline east-west I-40 corridor.
Absolutely. I mean, and it does not only tie into mitigate some of the economic challenges in terms of logistics for transportation, reducing the costs. There's also a safety component towards it. Most of the goods travel on a big semi truck,
sure,
to be completely frank. And when you can start eliminating some of that not only will help our highways, but keep our highways safe. So there is a safety component, an economic component. Of course, jobs. That's always been a big concern in recent years with shutting down of some industries. So hopefully this will help bring new businesses, bring new ideas, and just add to a better, more robust transportation system within the area.
Right, and not just San Juan County or the city of Farmington or the Navajo Nation, but it really would be a regional project too, correct? Because when I say you look at a map of rail, and I think between I-40 and I-70, there's not much in this part of the world.
Yeah. It's in fact, if you look at a map, you blow it up, and it's one of the most vacant areas in terms of rail and highways within the nation. So, I mean, the concept is you can get a product from Farmington or Gallup down to the I-40 corridor. That corridor can go from Chicago to Port of Los Angeles, and then from there the rest of the world. And that's what's exciting about this project, is it adds more connectivity to the region.
Right, true. And even north-south, I guess, if you hooked into the I-25
that's
areas
right,
and things like that to get to Mexico or
right,
north.
That's right.
And so there's a lot of possibilities. And so I guess the last question about this topic would be, when folks talk about rail and they say, well, I remember 50 years ago, or now probably 70 years ago, they were talking about bringing rail into San Juan County and it didn't go anywhere. What makes this different? And it seems to me that maybe the Navajo Nation being a player is certainly a major component, and the fact that the federal government has given some pretty major dollars for planning and studying this is also another plus in the favor of this project.
Yeah, those are huge factors. I think the timing with respect to federal funds could not be more ideal. The MOU between San Juan County and the Navajo Nation. And I think just the overall sentiment, the understanding that we know the economy not only is changing but has changed, and the sentiment is, well, what are we going to do as a result of that? And I think the sentiment continues to grow where we got to do something different. And here's a great opportunity. If we don't mitigate some of these economic concerns, we don't add the infrastructure, our economy will be in a lot more difficult place. And so I think when we look around, there is an effort to make sure that jobs will continue. Even if one industry starts to slow down, there'll hopefully be another industry that picks up, and rail will have a big part of that.
And that brings me to the next line of questioning I wanted to ask you about. The Legislative Finance Committee, I think, is meeting here in San Juan County, and actually just down the street a little bit here at San Juan College, talking a bit about some of these economic forecasts and things along that line. You were able to attend a few of the sessions. Can you share a little bit about what the topics were and what was being discussed over there?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the past 2 days, starting on Wednesday, Legislative Finance Committee had met. They had brought in different cabinet secretaries to talk about anything from economics, education, to the environment. One of the big highlights on Wednesday was not only talking about rail, but highlighting some of the revenue within the state of New Mexico. State of New Mexico is in a very fortunate place with respect to revenue, in large part because of oil and gas. Also, the economy is doing pretty well with respect to a lot of federal funds flowing in to the area. But one of the highlights, one of the concerns that the state identified was the demand for oil and gas within the next 10 years. And it showed that there was a tapering off within 2030 with respect to revenue, and in large part because the demand of oil and gas may start to dissipate with respect to more demand in electric vehicles. Of course, that should be expected when industry is now competing with another industry. But that does have some ramifications, not only for our area, but for the state as a whole. Loss in revenue will obviously be felt should that continue. And of course, a large part of our roads are funded through a gas tax. And of course, electric charging vehicles right now are not part of that equation. And so that has to be situated and has to be addressed at some point. But those are something to look for, not look forward to, but to look out for.
Sure.
So we could understand some of the risks that are coming, and we can be well prepared to weather any type of downturns within the economy.
Right. And we have heard that the oil and gas industry contributes revenue. Is it half the state budget or a good portion of the state budget? It's a big chunk, I know,
it
right?
It is a big chunk, well over a third. And it has contributed vastly for the last couple of years. So,
all these surpluses that we're hearing about is really because of that.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Got it. And the county is not as dependent on oil and gas revenue as maybe it once was, but there's still a chunk that comes into the county as well.
Yeah.
In the county budget,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so this would affect every budget, I think, in the state, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. Not just San Juan County, not just the city of Aztec and city of Farmington and so forth, but everybody as a collective whole. Luckily, there is a collective effort to continue to try to diversify. We understand the risks, and so, be it film, be it outdoor recreation, be it rail, we still want to make sure that picture, that egg nest has different eggs in that basket. But of course, you cannot discount the revenue from oil and gas within the state of New Mexico, large part because of this area.
Exactly. And maybe investing in a few more baskets.
That's right.
So they're not all in the same one would be
Correct.
a good idea. And I guess, too, I think the oil and gas folks would say, well, even if maybe we're not using it for fuel, we're still using plastics in almost everything. We're still maybe using natural gas for electricity generation and things like that. So that demand probably is not going to maybe weaken in the next decade as much as it would be for fuel.
That is a good point. Yes, there are still so many byproducts from oil and gas, petroleum, that are a result of this water,
Your water bottle, yeah,
and
right.
so forth. So, yeah, just structurally, the economy is built on oil and gas, and even if demand starts to taper off, there's still other industries that will be well suited and well needed for the products or byproducts of oil and gas.
Right, and that may be helpful for the state revenue picture.
Correct.
Moving forward, but depending on how much we use for fuel and how much for plastics, that's what maybe we'll be shifting.
Yes, sir.
In the next few years, so we will see. My guest this morning, Stephen Saavadra, is here. He is the new Deputy County Manager with San Juan County. Devn Neeley is also patiently waiting for me to ask him a question, and here as well. And I appreciate Devn being here. And Devn, you were here to talk a little bit about maybe how you, as a public relations manager, get the word out when there is an emergency in San Juan County. I know the County Fire and Rescue Department's been responding to a lot of fires and other calls in the last month or so. We did a whole show on it around fireworks season and 4th of July, but that's got to be a constant challenge to make sure you're getting your message out to the people who really need to hear it right away, immediately.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott, and appreciate just a few minutes of your time here this morning.
Sure.
But we've had two incidents in the pretty recent past that we've had to call for pretty wide evacuations of a certain neighborhood or area, and what we found is people don't have landlines anymore. And a reverse 911 call, that's a trademark name. That's not what we use. In this county, we use Everbridge, but that's what it is you get a phone call on your landline from the dispatch center saying, it's time for you to evacuate. people don't have landlines. And so we are trying to remind folks to sign up for Everbridge. And this is a product through the San Juan County Communications Authority. And basically what that does is it registers your phone number and attaches it to an address within the county. And when we need to alert you, whether you're at work or at home, you can get that message in one of three ways. And you choose how you want to get that message. You can get a phone call, you can get an email, or you can get a text message.
Got it.
And the call comes, we hit the button, and we all of those users get that alert, and we can tell folks that they're in a dangerous spot at that point. The other product that the dispatch center uses that we like to tell people about is Smart 911. And Smart 911 is a little bit different. You go in and you add all of your information to your profile, and when you call 911 from the registered phone number, excuse me, the information pops up on the dispatcher's screen. This is absolutely vital if you have information that you might not be able to share. Dispatchers can use an open phone line if there's a 911 call and you can't hear anything, or based on the information in your profile, maybe that person's diabetic, and the dispatcher can see, and maybe the person is passed out and can't speak over the phone. Maybe it's a non-verbal person trying to get 911 help. We've seen this useful in autistic people on the spectrum, and maybe they have a specific hiding spot that they go to in the house. And what that means is the dispatcher can relay this information along to emergency personnel and get a person out of a dangerous situation.
Right.
If we know that they're there. This applies to adults and children and seniors and pets and all of those things. The Smart 911 system is really important to be a part of. I can tell you from my own experience, I registered my grandmother's phone number, and so I would get an alert if she called 911 because she was apt to call me from the hospital rather than let me know ahead of time that she was headed that way. So myself and my family, we had a heads up that grandma was ill and had to go to the hospital. And so there are a lot of really good uses for Smart 911. In both of these instances, you have total control over your profile. With Smart 911, you're prompted every year to go in and update there's a medication list, there's illness and injury lists, there's all sorts of things that you can update on a yearly basis, and that's the same thing with the Everbridge system. If you sign up, you're prompted to update that from time to time. You update your home location, your work location, and how you want to receive those messages.
Got it. And both of these things are no cost to
Correct.
the user, right?
Absolutely.
These residents, right, that you're asking to do this. And that's a really important, I think, distinction, that as we move away from the landlines, and kids, ask your grandparents what a landline phone was, but it was wired to the wall or the table. But the idea that with the cell phone, so you don't have the technology necessarily, or maybe to do a cell phone reverse 911 call in a certain geographic area all the time.
Now,
That's a little
we
sketchy.
also do. We have the iPause system.
I see.
And that is like an Amber Alert on your phone.
Okay.
It's a loud warning. It's a vibration and an alert that pops up on your phone. We use that also, and that should, the keyword there being should, that should target cell phones within a certain radius of a location that we can designate.
Got it.
We don't know who's there. We don't get any kind of that information. We target the area. Well, not we. The dispatch center targets the area, and the notification goes to the cell phones in that area. However, we've found that it is imperfect at best.
Okay. That's the distinction I wanted to make sure people don't say, well, they can just call my cell phone. But
Correct.
Yes, in a perfect world, you probably can, but this is just a kind of extra insurance, I guess, that you're going to get notified in case of an emergency that you need to do something soon, like evacuate.
Exactly. This is one more method that we can get in touch with you if there is an emergency and we need you to get out or stay in or whatever that may be.
Shelter in place, whatever
Exactly.
the emergency might be. But when that happens, it's usually you want them to take action now or within a matter of minutes. It's not tomorrow or next week. It's an urgent warning of something going on in your immediate vicinity.
Yeah, exactly. We had a chemical spill in Bloomfield, and it necessitated some evacuations, and it necessitated some people to shelter in place. Go inside, stay inside, and turn off the swamp cooler was the message to some of those folks. And until we had that situation mitigated, we really needed people to heed that warning. And so that was one of those incidents. The other one was a fire, and we needed people out of their houses. We really didn't know how fast that fire was moving in Wild Horse Valley. And while we had crews on the way, the initial call was people in the immediate area needed to be out of their house and off the road and out of the way of emergency personnel.
Right. Very good. Two good ways to be able to do that and get notified in case of an emergency. So hope folks will take that into account. The Smart 911 and the Everbridge systems is what the county uses.
You got it. And both of those are available on the Dispatch Center's website. You can create your own profile and log into both of those from sjc911.net.
Okay.
I think.
All right. We'll see if that's right. We'll try it out and see.
Yeah.
But there you go. You can certainly search for the San Juan County, New Mexico 911 Center and find that address and get set up right away. I did want to put a plug in for Devn Neeley because he's going to be joining our broadcast team tomorrow as we broadcast the Connie Mack World Series Parade, and thank you for doing that.
My pleasure. I'm very glad to sit aside you in the review booth, and the Connie Mack World Series Parade is always one of the best attended parades of the year here in Farmington, and frankly, I don't know why. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's always hot.
Yes.
And nonetheless, this community comes out to support the young men that are playing in the Connie Mack World Series, and I look forward to participating tomorrow.
We're glad that you are going to be with us, so thank you for doing that again. I think folks are looking forward to this parade. We didn't have a 4th of July parade, so this is the one that folks are getting to enjoy for the first one of the summer. So that will be a great event tomorrow. So thank you again for giving up your time and talents.
My pleasure.
With us. We really appreciate that. Stephen Saavadra, before I let you go, I wanted to just touch base on another personal story that you wanted to maybe share with our audiences about maybe your change in jobs and the timing and some of those things that happened earlier in the year. Would you mind sharing that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, literally a week before, when San Juan County position for Deputy County Manager came out, I was notified about the opportunity, encouraged to consider applying.
Sure.
And then, unfortunately, the week after, my son, 5-year-old son, got sick and unfortunately and suddenly passed away. And basically the rug was pulled underneath us, me and my wife. It's been a very difficult experience. Part of a club that I don't think any parent wants to be a part of. But I will say what has helped in this process is the community in general. Living in Aztec, folks, even though we didn't know them, had no idea where they lived, they have been very supportive. Anything from offering us meals to car wash, anything of that nature, just to try to help us in this process. Nevertheless, it has been a very difficult journey. I think transitioning from the city of Aztec to the county in light of this was not only, it was a necessary step, a necessary change. I am very grateful for San Juan County, and I mean San Juan County as the community, trying to help me and my wife through this very difficult process, and that has shown the true colors. It's one thing to help out when everybody's happy and good times, but when something like this hits, and to show that people, even though we don't know them, are willing to help, really says something about this community.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. Well, there's a lot of folks who are thinking of you and your wife in this time, and really wish you both the best moving forward. And we appreciate you being here this morning to share a little bit of that with us, and also the other work that you're doing now with San Juan County. So thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah. I'll just say my son Giuliano would, I think, be very proud to know that everybody's helped out in memory of him. So thank you.
I'm sure he would. He always had a smile when I met him. So
thank you.
I remember that. Thank you very much. Stephen Saavadra, thank you for being here. Devn Neeley, thank you for coming in. And thank you for watching, everyone, and joining me this morning. This is KSJE.
Hey, AI could take over some work, and that doesn't have